Hey guys, welcome to the Sunday morning stream. I've had a couple of crazy races this weekend for the 2026 championship. Um, I didn't actually see a lot of the first race because I don't have KO at the moment, but um, I did see I saw the qualifying results. I think what was it? Was it qualifying? I was watching Scott Pye's thing. He did a stream, so I was watching that and being like, oh yeah. And then I think during the race, I had the live timing up on my computer, and I was watching James Golding's shotgun the whole time. Um, and so that was interesting to watch it. Obviously, I prefer to watch it through KO and just have everything up on screen. You'd be able to listen to Garth Tander and Chad Nailon commentating, which it's just not that big a deal. I don't think. We've been talking about, they shouldn't have got rid of Crompo and Scafie, and I don't really focus a lot on what they're saying in the race. I'm just sort of I'm watching the screen. I'm not really listening. Unless they're saying something interesting, I sort of don't focus too much on what they're saying. And yeah, so BRT got a front row lockout on Friday with Jimmy Golding and Aaron Cameron, and then Jimmy went on to get third, and Aaron Cameron managed to hold on to second, and they had legitimate pace. That was pretty shocking, really. You think, oh, it's just a fluke; they'll drop down out of the order or something, but they didn't. They were fast. And same thing on the Saturday; they were fast, but um, not as fast. Other teams got the leg up, and Anton De Pasquale got a win from pole. Um, and that shootout was one of those interesting ones where it rains part way through and people who should have been further up start further back, and then you think, oh, they should have done better, or they're going to struggle, or oh, they'll make it back through the field. But I don't know. It was a good race. Don't really remember a whole lot about it. Like obviously, it was Anton and Brody battling for the win. Did Brody have a penalty or something? I can't really remember. I remember more about the Friday race than I do about the Saturday race. So that's just what it was. But the big thing for me was just BRT. Like, where did that come from? How did they suddenly get successful? How did they suddenly fast? And I thought, well, think about he got blocked in pit lane. Oh yeah, Brody did. Brody got blocked in pit lane. That's right. Yeah, Randall. Yeah, I knew there was something. Yeah, so Brody could have won the race if it wasn't for that. But how BRT went from being last to first in teams order, it's sort of been a slow build since about QR last year. You started to see Aaron Cameron starting to get some good points and getting shootout appearances. They went to Bathurst and they could have had a better result, but things just went wrong. Apart from for Aaron Cameron, Gold Coast they were fast, and then Adelaide or Sandown. Don't remember. I don't think they were nowhere. They were nowhere at Sandown, but Adelaide they were fast, and Aaron Cameron got front row, and then they come to SMP for the first round this year with new driver, new engineer. That sometimes that's the trick. Sometimes, like you saw last year with Anton and Andrew Donnelly at Team 18, suddenly they're right up there doing things that the team hadn't done. And the same things happened at BRT, where they've signed Jimmy Golding and they've signed, is it Tom something? What's his freaking name? I'm forgetting his name. I have to check my PowerPoint presentations. It was Andre Heimgartner's engineer last year. Where do I find it? Where is it? I think it's in predictions, 2026 predictions. And my predictions video I was like, oh, it sort of snuck up on me because I always wait for the preseason test, but all of a sudden it's like, bang, preseason test done. Now we're already into practice. So I don't really know how to. I mean, I already sort of made my predictions a month ago on my streams, but sort of made it a bit difficult. Here we go. So BRT, Tony Woodward, that's his new engineer. Yeah, there's a few changes this year. The interesting one was seeing how Team 18 were suddenly fast, but it could just be a natural progression. The only issue is this could be a case of SMP smoke in the mirrors. Yeah, well, that's the thing is that sometimes teams are really good at one track and that's it. Yeah, and it's not like they got on the podium last night, so might not. They might not do it again. That might be it. No, I hope it's not either. I hope we see. I hope we see. I hope we see them being competitive this year and battling for the championship. Golding got shafted in the shootout. Yeah, ended up doing like a 132 or something when I think in better conditions people were doing 127s. I think was it Anton did it 27.9 or something, whatever it was. But yeah, they were going really fast. I can't remember what the results were last night. Aaron Cameron needs to learn to conserve the tyres a lot better. He said that he didn't that he wasn't getting his tyres right. But I don't think he realised that he had a slow pit stop because he didn't hit his markers. Like if he hadn't screwed up hitting his markers, he probably would have had a better pit stop, and he might have held position against Brock Feeney. I wanted to see what the results were. Oh, good. The website's actually been updated. All right. I'm going to show all this now. I doubt it because you're watching. As you're watching him, he's sliding the car everywhere, overheating the tyres. Yeah. If the back's stepping out a bit and the car's just sort of not like he's sliding through the corners, it's sort of hard to tell sometimes because sometimes it's the angle, sometimes it's the way they're coming through a corner. Pushes a bit too hard instead of consolidating. Yeah, and I think, but at least he's showing that speed. Like he's fast. He just needs to work on getting. He just needs to work on getting the tires right. Like Ryan Wood did it as well. Ryan Wood's a great example of someone who needed to work on tire conservation, and he did. That's why last year was better. This year he's still screwing up on starts. It's obvious he was good enough when he was in Super 2. Aaron Cameron, yeah. Aaron Cameron was. I think sometimes in Super 2, it's really hard to tell if it's car or driver. But sometimes it's if they jump in and they're immediately good, that's when you know that they're good enough. I think Aaron Cameron was definitely one of those drivers who he came straight. He was in straight away. He was driving a Kelly Mustang. That doesn't mean it's a bad car. Nah, nah. You're making it sound like the Kelly Mustangs weren't good. Brad Jones Racing won last night. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Brad Vaughan won in Super 2 in a BJR car. So you can't just say because this team built it, that means it's not good. The second one was what? Rose Z. Nah, I don't. I think It's gotta be both. Mason Kelly's battling for last every race. Yeah. Yeah, Mason Kelly maybe wasn't, um he wasn't as naturally talented, but he maybe was doing more work than Aaron Cameron. But then you could say that Aaron Cameron was also working very hard, doing a lot of categories, and getting things organised for himself. Whereas for Mason Kelly, not to say that he's rubbish because he's not rubbish. Um, he inherited the Altima, he inherited the race. So these are things that he got given. Um, so it's sort of harder for them to carve their own way. Whereas people who don't have a name, they struggle. They have to do it all themselves. Too shy to give shit to people. Yeah, but I like Mason Kelly. He wasn't terrible. How did he get a podium last year? That's my question. Um, gonna get rid of that. It was 2025 Super 2 because oops, he didn't show one glimpse of potential. Yes, he did. He wasn't bad. So you're being too harsh. I'm being too shy, and you're being too harsh. Look, the only top 10 he got in 2025 was this podium at SMP. Don't at Tassie. Don't know what happened. Maybe there was a bit of luck. Maybe he just nailed qualifying that one time and held it together. But he obviously wasn't carving his way through the field. Who was the other driver? Cam McLeod. Cam McLeod, I mean, it was 2025 Super 2. It's kind of hard to say. This year, it's probably a bit clearer. 2024, where is he? He got one top 10. Maybe looks like he had better results in 2024, but there are quite a few drivers who had a good 2024 and a worse 2025. Jared Hughes, Job Stewart, guys that were up there, and then in 2025 they were down. So, those guys got shit cars. What, Jared Hughes and Job Stewart? It wasn't their fault. They would have had the exact same car as the year before. They were what, down in power? Or down in power? Is that what you mean? How would they be worse in power? I don't think they're allowed to modify things in Super 2. It would have come down to setup, team organisation. That's what it come down to. That whatever that Tickford had a much better organised thing. No updates for the car. They mentioned it. Right. Okay. Numerous times during the races. Okay. Well, then that's the truth then. Yeah, what was I looking at? Alright. This is last night's results. Matt Payne, Cam Waters. That's why when he got in the Enduros, he was really good. Yeah. Yeah, well, both of them were doing a great job because they were in competitive cars. And Erebus, the two races this weekend have not been doing a good job. Like, Job's gone up 7 spots. What happened? Is that? Man. Heimgartner, DNF. Macca might as well be a DNF. Still got a good number of points. Is that laps? That's laps. 19 points. Juice, Ryland Gray down. Not sure what happened all there. But there was the safety car, right, that sort of messed up things a bit. What was the safety car for? I can't remember. Heimgartner. Yeah, but what was it? He must have engine failure on the track. Guess so. Because was it last night that Macca was in the garage? Because they both ended up in the garage. Right? Yeah, I could remember. Hmm. I was having a few drinks, so I couldn't really remember all of it. But I definitely remembered Macca's was in the garage. Had to replace the brake duct and front splitter. Oh yeah, yeah. It's interesting seeing that the Toyotas seem to be a bit underpowered at the moment. So I was happy when I saw Woody in the shootout. I think they just need to tune things tune things up a bit more, and they'll get better and better. Which I think is what Molly Taylor was saying at the end. That or was it Larko? I think Larko was saying they're off. They're in the dirt at the start of the race lawn mowing. Oh yeah, yeah. Macca went straight away. Um, but Jack LeBrock got a top 10. That was surprising as well. And Kyle Allen in the top 10. That was a battle. 14th to last. Into turn 8. Not sure what you're talking about. Oh, I'm getting lost now. Aaron Cameron 16th. That's not good. Where was Jimmy? Jimmy was top 10. Just 10th. Yeah, maybe they're slipping back, but they could bounce back today. Macca followed but went off. It wasn't turn 8, it was turn 1. I thought it was the first lap. Yeah, but it was later in the race as well. It wasn't lap 1. So that might have been where the damage came from for Macca, but I think he did go off lap 1. That crash, don't know who it was. Alright. Um, I was gonna say Decker got ahead of Ojeda, but Ojeda seems to be faster than Decker at the moment. He was better, had a better run in preseason testing. Maybe it was Macca. I don't know, and I won't be able to show replays or anything. Jackson Wolves is about where we would have expected him to be. Zach Bates has been really impressive. My God, Premier. They're about. If anyone expected them to come into the first round of the season and expected them to be up the front because Roland Dane, they're an idiot. You can't expect that, right? Roland Dane would have been dragging people up by their ears after last night. So there's gonna be some serious changes coming forwards in Premier, not necessarily in personnel, but in terms of the way they run the team. And from what I've heard, Peter Chibris has given Roland uh, like fair go. He's going to do whatever he needs to do to make that team a front running team. Because Juice has got the pace. Jack LeBlanc not looking too good either. Well, Zach Bates dropped down somehow. I'm not sure how that happened though. I think he got punted. LeBrock, he had a really good strategy and went straight up there, but he's getting out qualified by Zach Bates, and Bates is very impressive. I didn't expect him to be that good against LeBrock, but yeah, you can't be getting spanked by a rookie teammate. Agreed. But same deal with Golding versus Aaron Cameron. I mean, over from consistency last night or not last night, but Friday and Saturday, he'll get there eventually. Um, I mean, Aaron Cameron shouldn't be beating Jimmy Golding. That's what I think. So in general, more experienced drivers shouldn't be getting beaten by their less experienced teammates. But there's a bit of a mix. It's actually something I worked on last year. We were talking about who's beating their teammates based on like are they less experienced, they're more experienced. Certain drivers were just smashing their teammates. I'll see if I can find it. Um, 2025. After you've had a year in the sport, I think it's level playing field. It depends on what their issues are. I think that Ryan Wood still needs to get his starts right, and then he'll be as good as Mostert because he's out qualifying him. But the last two races, the first two races of this year, he just drops spots straight away at the race start. He needs to get that. He needs to get it sorted. He's already better. Ryan Wood is not better than Chaz Mostert. If they qualified next to one another, I'd be expecting Chaz Mostert to get a better launch than Ryan Wood at the moment. Woody is out qualifying Chaz. He's not necessarily out racing him. Where was it? Is it here? Was it? I think it's best qualifiers. I think that's what it's called. It's definitely out racing him. Well, hang on. Yeah, well, obviously, if you start further up, you're gonna be out. Um, you're gonna have a higher chance of being ahead. Why is it doing that? That's annoying. Oh, it's got that one. Get rid of that. He just kept getting the mechanical failures. It's part of being a good racing driver. Yeah. All right. So 2025, Ryan Wood. So Woody out qualified Chaz a lot of the time, and he out raced him less of the time. It's basically 2/3 being able to qualify car as part of the job. Yeah, but you have to be the complete package. You can't just be one thing and then not the other one, and then people will still say that you're better than him. He's not better because he out qualifies Chaz. And obviously, if you qualify further up, you're more likely to finish in front. So last night, Ryan Wood did beat Chaz in every area, out qualified him and out raced him he because he because he started and finished ahead of him. He's not good at starts, but his race pace is a lot better than Chaz. His race pace will be better if he starts behind Chaz and then finishes in front of him. That's when he's going to be better. So I'll bring up. I think it's this one. Woody. So these are all the times that's racecraft. So then is his racecraft better than Chaz? Race pace and yes, race pace is about speed and lap times. Racecraft is whether you can get the move done. Not at all. Well, what is it then? I don't know where I've got Chaz. There. He's better than Chaz in every other metric, though. I'm getting confused here. Okay, so I'm going to make a copy of this. Comes time where the overlap happens, where even though the results aren't coming, he's better. If he's making mistakes, he's not better. It's a case of the Mark Scaife Todd Kelly issue. Yeah, I get where there'll be a time where Todd beats him yearly. Yeah, well, that was different because I looked at Scaife versus Todd, and Scaife would almost all the time out-qualify Todd. Well, not actually, that's not the right way to say it. It's most of the time Scaife out-qualified Todd, and it wasn't until 2007 that Todd actually was out-qualifying Scaife, but also got poles where Scaife got no poles. And yes, Todd would beat Scaife in the championship, but that's because of mechanical issues or bad luck in the race or something like that. And so, but if you put them in the same position, the same situation, who's more likely to capitalize and turn a pole into a win? Literally, what happens to Wood? Yeah, well, I'm trying to think that through. That maybe you're right. All last year, Ryan Wood was getting shafted. Oh, shafted might be a nasty word. I'll find, where is he? There. That's Woody. And that's Chaz. Okay, so it's always his car with the mechanical issues. Okay. Let's find it. He did have an issue at SMP in the second race. Looks like Chaz didn't have one. Or the pit stop. Yeah. Where am I looking? Oh. Pit earlier for second stop. Yeah. So if I just had the one, there's an angled pit stop at Taupo, but there's not a lot you can do about that. Chaz doesn't win the championship last year without Ryan Professional Foul Wood. No. Crossed over in front of camera and span off. Bad start. It's a slow pit stop for Chaz. Starting from pit lane for Chaz. Suspension failure, that wasn't Woody's fault. Engine failure wasn't his fault. I do want to make a video about it, and maybe I will make a video going into that sort of detail and saying where would Woody have been in the championship compared to Chaz if it wasn't for all those things going wrong. But in some of these cases, it's because he didn't do a good enough job. And then if he was beating Chaz or not. Like he got the crash with Golding. And that last race, he was out qualifying. Then in the finals. Yeah, well, obviously in the finals, he had that fuel thing. Yes, he was leading the race from pole. I don't know if he would have won the race. He was on pole. It was only the first or second lap. So it's not like he was pulling away. He had Feeney like right behind him the whole time, and then he had the fuel issue. So, like, we know all the things that went wrong for him in the finals, and they definitely cost him. He didn't. So, did he out? It's like Chaz out qualified him there, and then Woody out qualified Chaz in the next two races. They fucked him over again. Well, that's Walkinshaw for you. Like, it's hard for them to be like, oh, yeah, whenever they say, oh, it's just bad luck, the team did a great job, and then the team give you a car that doesn't finish the race. Like, how do you go back into the garage and say, yeah, they're a great team, they did all this amazing work? Like, it's just a mixed bag of results at Walkinshaw. How many of these? So there's the suspension failure, but I reckon at Adelaide, but I reckon that one was to do with whacking the wall because that was in the same part of the car. What else? He had the starter motor issue for Chaz. Not as many, but sometimes it is sort of like that at teams where one car seems to keep on having issues and the other one doesn't have as much. Don't know. If I looked at Anton or David Reynolds, how many issues they might have had. Not as many mechanical issues, it seems. Nowhere near as many. Garage with issues, not sure what might have just been banging into people. No, see, no issues really. So how does Walkinshaw have a year where they've got constant mechanical issues, but Team 18 don't have issues? Because they used to have issues all the time. I wonder if it's different because Adrian Burgess or because having Andrew Donnelly with Anton. If we look at brake fade, that's not great. Some sort of mechanical issue with the Gold Coast. I thought that was the wheel though, right? They couldn't get the wheel back on. There might have been someone not allowing them to take shortcuts. Yeah. That's the thing, is that you want introducing procedure. Yeah. Well, that's what Roland Dane is going to be hoping to do this year, is introducing procedures. But you think he probably would have already done, but maybe there were just things that they hadn't thought of that they need to really crack on. But I think sometimes Triple Eight's a good example of a team that has a lot of procedure and does a lot of things really well. And they had two issues which cost them results. Some teams take shortcuts. Yeah, well, what Scott Pye said about Team 18 is that they wouldn't, they don't take, some teams, they'll have an issue in testing and then they'll worry about fixing the issue and then not get the testing things that they need to be done. They won't get the program done. Like the Toyotas at preseason testing, and I think the same deal with Aston Martin in Formula One, because the thing's so unreliable somehow. They can't do anything, and the car's slow, and it doesn't drive right, and the engine keeps failing. The race engineer is fixing an issue instead of engineering the car. Yeah, exactly. The mechanic should be worrying about fixing the car. The engineer should be worrying about getting the setup right, so that when the car does work, they've got a fast car. But yeah. Richie Stanaway. Yeah. So, yeah, I think Walkinshaw maybe had the most issues. Suspension failure for Stanaway at Gold Coast, but I think that was, I mean, it is Gold Coast, so it's probably just hitting the curbs too hard or something. I do have stuff for, I think it was it Carl Reindler in 2010? The number of times that car had a mechanical issue was crazy. I'm looking at it going, why is he having such a bad time? Um, can't remember who it was. I can't remember what car it was. Or where I would have found it. Why? I'm not going to save that. I don't know what's going on there. All right. We'll call that done. But I don't know where it would have been. Is it here? Yeah, it would have been Jason Bright. That's where it would have been. All right. That's 2003. All right. Well, we don't. That's not what we want. It's 2010. Jason Richards. That's where it would have been. 2010. Carl Reindler. Header failure, clutch failure, engine failure, and then finally someone else has a mechanical issue. JR has a steering failure, and then steering failure for Reindler, engine failure for Bridie, clutch failure for Alan Manu, and that's it. Like the number of mechanicals that Reindler had compared to everyone else was just nuts. And then that made his championship look a lot worse because he's driving the worst car in the team. I mean, obviously, you can't expect him to be better than Jason Bright and Jason Richards because both of them are at the top of their game, and Reindler was a rookie. But if the car keeps having issues, it's kind of hard to focus on getting results when your car keeps breaking down all the time. If I looked at Garth Tander, wasn't it? I think go 2011. Courtney, not too many. I think those were mechanical issues though. He dropped all those positions, would have finished laps down. But an actual DNF because of the mechanical issue. Suspension failure, steering failure. But I think JC had a lot more mechanicals that year. Do I have James Courtney 2011 got to be the worst title defense of all time? It was pretty disappointing to watch. Where was it? Because he wasn't like he was qualifying and racing badly. It was just like the car was either the car either had no pace or something, or there was an incident or a mechanical. It was just like constantly happening. It didn't start off well, struggling to make top 10 in a factory Holden car. Yeah, but yeah. He wasn't struggling to make top 10s because because even he got 19th to 8th. So when he could make top 10, he did make top 10. 22nd up to 11th, that's pretty good. And it's not like the HRT car was just leagues better than everyone else. They were getting worse over time. They were still top 10 for sure. But a number of times where they qualified down the back and then something happened is like all too often. The team was abysmal. Yeah. 22nd up to 12th, that's good. 10th down to 14th, I don't know what happened there. Whatever Tander was doing was a miracle. Yeah. Well, Tander was just really good in the Project Blueprint era. As soon as he got to Car of the Future, he was getting out qualified, but he wasn't. He was just consistent, constantly banking top tens, not necessarily out qualifying JC all the time, but as the years went on, it got harder and harder for him to get results. Was it 2016 the last year for HRT? They were still grabbing top tens. They weren't always like at certain tracks. They were just nowhere. Winton was bad. Darwin was bad. Townsville was good, but something happened at the second race for GT. Then QR was bad. Well, they had the pace to get top 15, but not much else. Top 10s at SMP, which they weren't too bad at SMP. But the team was just getting worse and worse. I think there was an interview with Scott Sinclair on V8 Sleuth, and he was saying that there was just no direction with the. They were making heaps of parts, and they had all these resources to make new shock absorbers or whatever, and there just wasn't like a direction with what to do with the cars to make them be where they needed to be. In my opinion, the team hadn't been good since 2009 because they lost Richard Holway. He went to Gary Rogers. And so from then onwards, it was just like they were qualifying and racing in the top 10. GT was putting it on pole and getting race wins. But it wasn't as good as it was in 2009. It wasn't as good as 2008. And just the results started slipping further and further away. Car of the Future was supposed to be better, but it was just it was getting worse. Look at that qualifying run for GT. Darwin, really bad. And he started to get a few more, but Courtney was just better at qualifying in Car of the Future era. I think the way those cars worked was a lot better for Courtney than it was for Tander. Suited Courtney's style. Which was why he was getting the results that GT wasn't. But anyone else, if like Slade and Percat, like Percat looked pretty good in that car, doing quite a good job. Didn't start off well, but there were plenty of races where he was getting in the top 10, qualifying in the top 10, but not always getting the luck or racing as well, or something's just not going well. It was 2014, it was a really boring year to watch. They weren't too bad in 2015. They were just sort of like dropping. Scott Pye saying the team was laughing at Percat. Oh. Probably because he was supposed to be the Bathurst winner. Supposed to be the great thing. But he's doing a pretty good job because he's 12th in the championship in his rookie season. They would have kept him, so used to understaffed teams. Scott Pye was saying the team was laughing at Percat because he's so used to understaffed teams. But Walkinshaw wouldn't have been understaffed. Triple Eight was laughing. Oh, okay, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. That makes sense. And I'm sure Percat could have had a laugh as well. When he was on with Brody and Brownie, because the feedback they gave was identical. Oh, okay. Yeah, what was it? They're trying to think about how to fix the car rather than what's going on with the car. I think, can't remember where I heard that. Trying to make the car go fast on a test day. Yeah, it's like as a test day, we're not trying to we're not trying to get pole on a test day instead of finding the window and going through processes. Yeah. Well, that's sort of a question I wanted to hear from Scott Pye when he was doing a stream about I think it was in qualifying, was it in practice? Whatever it was. I wanted him to talk about like what's the difference between like what are you trying to achieve in a test? Because during the test days, there were drivers saying, "Oh, what's the point of doing a test day at a different track, at a different configuration?" And I'm thinking, it's not a race weekend. You're not supposed to be trying to get pole in the test day, and you're trying to work out where the car's at. Um, you're just working out like where the car's at, where the team's at, and going through those processes and seeing mechanically how everything is. Um, and if you got new people, run them through the processes, doing some pit stop practice, stuff like that. You're going to be doing that anyway in a race weekend, but you're not going to be um, like this is your chance to get ahead, is to see how's the car working, how's the team working, and just basically putting the team through a whole lot of tests to see where they're at with things. Um, but yeah, I think I can't remember who it was. I think it was it David Reynolds or someone or Chaz Mostert. Someone was saying something like, "Oh, there's no point racing on the Druitt circuit. We should be on the like. What's the point of it?" I'm thinking it's a freaking test day, and I was happy that Roland Dane actually came out and said it doesn't really matter. Like we're we're doing a test day. We're just gonna do what we're gonna do. It doesn't really matter what the track is. Because I think a lot of the time people will take what drivers say as as though it's the word of God. Like, oh, well, Chaz Mostert said it, so it must be true. It's like Chaz Mostert's a driver, all right. He's not a team manager. He's not an engineer. He's not a mechanic. Just because, like, it, they're probably just a bit frustrated. Um, so yeah, it doesn't mean I don't know. I think sometimes people take drivers' words too seriously, and maybe the problem is the media going and asking the drivers what they think of the test day stuff. They should be asking engineers, team managers, stuff like that, because they're the ones who know this is what we're actually trying to achieve, um, and then making sure they are achieving that, rather than the drivers going, "Oh, well, what's the point of doing the test day on this version of the track?" I think they made the support categories do the Druitt circuit and just the main game is doing the Gardner circuit, which was interesting because I think was it yesterday the track started to break up a bit, so they put all the supports on the Druitt circuit because they did the whole of Friday. Everyone was racing on the Gardner circuit and it started to break up Saturday morning, and then they switched it. So it would have been interesting to see the main game racing on the Druitt circuit, and I guess there's still a chance that they could do it, but it was just cool seeing a different version of the track. And I think who was it? I think it was Job Stewart or someone saying that because the Bend's going to be on the West circuit, they reckon it's going to be any different, but I don't think it would be. they think that it's gonna change everything so much, but it's not. It's just gonna be a shortened version of the same track. So it just means you'll be doing more laps at that track to get the 500 kilometers. So, hmm. Um, what else? Reynolds got P5. I was very impressed with that. That's what you want to see from Reynolds. Characteristics needed would change massively. Um, yeah, it could do. Like, yeah, the tire deg would be different, but you'd just be doing more laps. So the number of laps you'll be doing on that track would be, I don't know if it would be a massive change. They skip the sweeper. Yeah, the turns 9, 10, 11, 12. Um, I think the XL's race on the West Circuit. Tailem Bend West Circuit. Is there a way that I can actually see this without it being annoying? Yeah. Car setup would change, maybe the fire won't be dominant. Also, whoever races on that tender part of the Eastern Creek circuit, like, what was the point of it? On the extended part of making the track longer. I'll see if I can bring that one up. Sydney Motorsport Park Circuit. Yes, this is the Gardner Circuit. And yeah, you see they've got a little extra bit. Yeah, I don't know why. It's probably just yeah, I don't know. I wonder who's ever raced on that. So what's it called? The Brabham Circuit, it's called. So, which was, I don't know who's raced on, but supercars have never raced on the Brabham Circuit. Brabham. Let's see if I can find it. And the extension is added to the existing Gardner Circuit. It's called the Brabham Circuit. Blah, 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 not a whole lot about it. They just say it exists, really, and this is just showing lap records, not showing... karting apparently does it, that kind of makes sense. And sports sedans. That's kind of it. Not really a whole lot. I guess they just sort of added an extra version of it, but yeah, I agree. What was the point? What was the point? But yeah, I think like the Ben's obviously got a lot more. So they got this bit. This is the bit we're talking about, and it comes back around. I think that's what supercars race with. Do I have a picture of it somewhere? This is the Bend. What's called? It's not the International Circuit. What's it called? It's called something else. Yeah, they just raced this bit. Is that another pit lane? I think that is, because I've got a mate who's driven there, and I think this must be the bit he's talking about. Because it's got like a whole... I would love to race on. I would love to drive on the Bend circuit. Well, this is weird. That's got a little... comes down and goes through. That's weird. It's added a couple extra turns there. because in supercars normally go straight through, and I think XLs go straight through. Um, that's weird. I didn't even know that existed. Well, because I've only ever been on the one side of the track. I haven't been on the other side of the track because you've got the parking view here. So that'd be good to see. I want to do it one day. One day when I have lots of money, I want to see every part of every track, but it's not easy to see all of it. Yeah, they just go up there. And instead of going up around, I don't know if it would change too much. Maybe it would. It depends because when you have a car set up a certain way, there's going to be parts of the track where it's not as strong versus other parts. So if you like, this is obviously a lot more about you got several straights. You got one straight here, one straight there. So it makes the whole track a lot more straight heavy. So you don't need to be stressing too much about the cornering. Whereas with the other way, there's a lot more cornering. So you do need to be a bit more catering towards the corners. So that could be a thing. And not that I know a whole lot about car setups, but that's the way I understand it. It's like you take it away from where it's good in one area because you need it to be better in another area. It's not necessarily going to be perfect in every area, but you want to keep adjusting it until it's as good as it can possibly get. That's why like sometimes one car's just way better than all the others because it's just nailed it, and in other parts it's just like, sometimes if you get it wrong, you're way down the order. So what else? I did watch Super 2 yesterday, and what was it? Alice Buckley having she qualify behind Tommy Smith. I think she did, and I thought this is not impressive. Like people talking her up, saying, "Oh, how great is she?" Go there. So Tommy Smith started 15th. So he outqualified Alice Buckley. And then he made a mistake. And I was watching him like, I can't believe he's better than her. And then he finally made a mistake and then he went off. I'm like, there he is. There's Tommy Smith. That's the one I remember. And yeah, she's about where I would have predicted her to be. Bailey Hall wasn't that far up. Brady Owens fair down. Elliot Cleary's down. Eggleston's are not having a big bounce back. Like Cody Birch is 14th up to 12th. That's not great at all. But Anderson Motorsport, really good. I was a bit disappointed that Zach Best didn't beat Ryan Thompson, but I was pretty surprised to see Ryan Thompson up there. But also Zach Bates has been out of the category. The Super 2 field isn't the greatest. Yeah, agreed. A lot of the great drivers that were in there aren't there anymore, so I wouldn't be expecting. Yeah, I can't see any of them graduating yet. I can't either. Like Zach Bates needs to be battling for the championship. He needs to be, but he hasn't been in Super 2 for a couple of years, so he needs to get his eye back in. But I don't know how long does it take? Maybe there's like little things he needs to get better at or something. Yeah, I said Zach Best. Yeah. Did I say Zach Bates? I think I said Zach Best. Yeah, Zach Best needs to be basically battling for the win every race. Like he did get pole, but yeah, just for whatever reason had such a bad start and dropped it and couldn't get back through. Just didn't have the race pace, I guess. Lockie Doughton doing a good job. The BRT car. Ruben Goodall. I was surprised. I was like, "Where's the red car? Ruben Goodall should be in the red car," but I guess he didn't have the sponsors this year. So, and then what else? There was Ben Gomersall doing a pretty good job, but he dropped a couple of spots. Certain people had a bad start on the Friday races. On the Friday race in supercars in the main game. Was it Ojeda had a bad start? Woody had a bad start. I can't remember who else. And Golding had a bad start. And then Ojeda managed to come back into 13th where he qualified. I was impressed with that. Matt Hillier's doing a pretty decent job in the BJR car, so maybe they've just got those ZBs all worked out. Because he wasn't great at Walkinshaw, and suddenly, although I think last year was his first year in the category, so maybe it was just because he was in the wrong team at the wrong time. Campbell Logan, he qualified in the top 10, but he didn't. Campbell Logan needs to be doing better than that. It's his third year, and he's arguably in a better team. Nash Morris should not be that far down. If he's as good as he's the hype. Like, he's got an endurance co-drive. They've been talking him up. He should be battling for the win. Instead, Ruben Goodall's up there. Well, Jordan Sinney did a better job than I thought he did. He's 10th there, ahead of Matt Jarder. What else got? Ayrton Hodson leading for MSR. Whew. It is really sort of muggy today. Like, there's no sunshine. And I was going to do my washing and stuff today, but maybe it won't rain. Maybe it's just going to look like rubbish. That's everything I got to say about Super 2. Bailey Sweeney's doing all right, but obviously Lockie Doughton's better. I think Lockie Doughton's much more of a raw talent than Bailey Sweeney. It'd be good to see how Matt Hillier goes this year with that performance for BJR. Like, he might close the gap to Brad Vaughan. And Brad Vaughan should be winning races. He's been in the category long enough. He should be winning races. Just interesting that it's in a BJR car, so you should be expecting the 888 cars to be up the front because they're 888 built. But there's so much more to racing than where you got the car from. It's how good's the team that's running the car. I guess the thing about BJR is that they've got their own people who I imagine a team like BJR would use their main game mechanics in Super 2, but I don't know. They would want to be stretching their personnel as much as they can, but I don't know. Ryan Thompson, though, to immediately be running up the front, that's impressive, because I felt like last year Anderson Motorsport had the speed, but just couldn't make it happen. So I don't know what their qualifying was like last year, but their results were terrible. So, like, Ayrton Hodson, I think, at SMP at the start of the year, was racing up the front, and then I think he put it on the front row, and I was like, who's this? This guy must be good. And then they spent the rest of the year down the back. The same thing with Ryan Thompson, but Ryan Thompson's come in with a 2-year deal, and then he's got Will Davison helping him. Anderson Motorsport have hired Ludo Lacroix to help engineer the cars, and bang, they're up the front. Like, that's what you want to see. Yeah. Alright, what else? Oh, Lockie Doughton on pole. Good. That's what you want to see. Um, I don't know what the mistakes were that Triple Eight made in the pits. I know they let Feeney out and got a 15-second penalty because they let him out too early. They didn't hold him when they should have. Can't remember what happened to Brown. What exactly were they? Unsafe release and Brown spun the wheels. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just uncharacteristic mistakes. So there you go. It can happen. How'd we do that? That's right. Yeah. But Feeney carved his way through to 6th, and Brown didn't have the pace. He was 15th. What was the penalty, though? Did they both get 15-second penalties? They both got 15-second penalties. Where did Brown might have started further down? I need to actually update my results stuff anyway, so I might as well do that. Some of these results I'm gonna have to. Brown started 13th, yeah. So he's still struggling in qualifying. He shouldn't be that far down. I think the broadcast starts at like 11:30 or something today. Because I don't have KO this year, so I'm just doing everything on Channel 7 and then live timing and shotgun because I've still got Supercars membership from that I bought last year. You're overseas. Lucky you. Well, I hope lucky you. So you're using VPNs. Fair enough. Yeah, otherwise it would be the what's it called? The Supercars, the YouTube thing on Supercars, Superview. All right, where was I going? I was going to update all of my information. That's what I was doing. 2026 driver ups and downs, and then I'm probably going to forget a bunch of the things. Paid for NRL digital membership. Okay. That's interesting. Because KO is taking the piss with that pricing. Yeah. Well, at least you. Well, how much is KO going for now? Is it still $30 or $25? KO. Blah, 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 blah. Is it not going to tell me? $45. Why is this not telling? Oh, $30 a month. That's where it starts. This is confusing. Oh. How do I go to freaking... I just want to know how much it's going to cost. There we go. Oh, yeah. Well, I only had standard, so it's $30 a month still. But that's like $46 for... Yeah, KO standard's 30. I've never had the better version. I never thought it was worth it. How come it's not showing more? Oh, it's raining. think it's raining. It should say more information. You got a 4K TV. So, and the broadcast looks great. Supercars broadcast. What was it? I think it was with the main game. And oh, for God's sakes, I just want to know the freaking comparison. Why is this such a crap website? Oh my God. Oh, there's a voucher. Oh, whoops! Did it subscribe? Did it sign me in or? Yeah, I'm eligible for the dollar. Oh, it only applies to premium. Right. I didn't know that. Where's the different? It should show the different versions. Because I only just use the regular one. I don't have a fancy TV. There's only two. Yeah, I know there's only two versions, but there's more information than just the two different stream qualities and number of screens. There's like more stuff, right? But that's just all they're showing. Anyway, I'm not getting KO again anyway, so not for now. Next year. Maybe hit the arrows. Yeah, I'm over it. The website's crummy. Anyway, I was updating the information. So here's Anton. Anton, 5th out of 6. Great start to the year. First aid. First. Yeah. Roosters have the cheapest one. $335 for 12 months. Right. I didn't even know that NRL really existed. I didn't know it was as big a deal until like the last 10 years, I think. I don't know if like their marketing just sort of exploded. I know that I don't know if you know about the NRL AFL line, but in South Australia, it's pretty rare for people to watch NRL. People usually watch AFL, not NRL. Yeah, because I'm from Adelaide. So yeah, that could just be it. That it's just it's not marketed as heavily. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. Yeah. I think these days that there's a lot more access to sport these days with the subscription services and just different all the streaming services you can access. You can watch anything in the world. But yeah, so is that a membership that you get, like the digital package? You can watch so you can watch all the stuff that you need to watch to keep up with what your team's doing, or is that like all the games they play? Because in AFL we had a package to watch all the Crows home games on KO, or $335 for 12 months. Same price for standard. Jesus Christ. Oh, hang on. I think I did run those sort of numbers and be like, how much does it cost for $30? Where's my calculator? 30 times 12, $360. $28 a month for premium. That's really good. Because I think standard's $30. So yeah, that's cheaper. And there's a standard version which is like $220. Wow. So is that because Roosters is an NRL team, right? Or is that I'm misquoting the prices? Yeah, well, that's all right. That's all right. Roosters is NRL. Yeah, I thought they were. So is that in addition to KO, or is that separate to KO? So you don't have, so you get like a cheaper package, but you still get to watch all the games and you still get to enjoy everything. Alright, so I just did. And then you got Brock. Brock ended up 6, right? AFL has it too. Okay. Yeah, well, I like last time I knew anything about how much things cost for AFL was when we were watching all the home games, and that cost like $300 and something a year, and that was in 2014. So different time. Most sports have a digital pass. Yeah, well, that's fair enough. I think obviously Supercars has got it. It's just a little bit pointless. um, what is it? They were charging. On Supercars, I have a KO deal as well on the website. Oh, okay. I haven't looked into it. Yeah. I think it said something on the website here. It's not My Supercars Plus. Superview. So press that. Partners KO. Lil Moto GP. Blah 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 blah. It doesn't really say anything about a deal. I'll go back to what I was doing. And the rain stopped. That was quick. There's no point turning my sprinklers off. The YouTube money's worth. Yeah. Well, this year I'm just trying to budget a bit more. I happen to have a bit more money than I thought I'd have, but I'm still just like, I'm not gonna bother. I'm just gonna watch the stuff on free to air and save some money so that next year I don't have to worry about it. Brock Feeney. What's that? 9th up to 6th. And that was because of the wet. Mixed conditions on shootout lap, and 15-second penalty for unsafe pit release. So that's the end of that. Aaron Cameron, well down the order. Something must have happened to him because you don't start 5th and drop to 16th. Jimmy was 10th. I think it said he started 10th as well. Of course, he started 10th here. Got caught out. But he wasn't fast enough to make any more gains. But he did get held up in the pits, but it wouldn't have been that big a drop. So he just didn't get past anyone. Conditions on shootout. And released in front of him. That didn't really cost him a whole lot though. Payne, I think Payne's still up there. Yep, 3rd stayed 3rd. Payne's doing a great job as always. Still, feel like Payne should probably be getting wins and poles. That Feeney penalty was soft. I think that's just normal for the pit release. That's just the penalty they give. It's a black and white rule, but yeah, they got like a book. It's like, this is the penalty for this issue. If it's if they feel it's an egregious issue, like they maybe damage the car or something, but I don't think Golding had damage from Feeney releasing into him. It's like minor contact on the exercise behind the rear wheel too. Minor contact on the exit behind the rear wheel too. Yeah, it wasn't a big deal. Waters 6 to 4th. I don't know if his shootout lap was compromised in any way. Just mixed conditions, just generally. In time, already done that one. Will Brown. Finney didn't go for that gap. He's behind like 3 other cars. Oh, were there more cars behind Golding? I thought they had enough room for him to just sit behind him. So 11th down to 15th apparently. He was 11th, not 13th. And obviously wasn't in the shootout. But what was his thing? 15-second penalty for spinning wheels in the pits. Heimgartner, DNF. So I gotta find out where he qualified. Was he in the shootout? I don't think he was. Oh, there is qualifying. 14th at DNF. Bit sucky for Heimgartner. He was flying the flag until Woody did a better lap in qualifying, but he was doing a good job. Randall, 7th down to 14th. I do wonder though how BRT got that good this year, but it's great to see. And hopefully they get top 10s today as well. I don't know if Randall had any. Oh, hang on. He did. He double stacked in the pits. Oh, actually, mixed conditions in the shootout. On shootout there. And double stacked in the pits. Kostecki, I think second, stayed second. What else? Don't think it was. Oh, hang on. Kostecki did get held up, yeah. Up in pits by Randall. Kai Allen, 13th up to 8th. It's much better than yesterday. Don't remember if anything else happened with Kai. Reynolds, was that 12th up to 5th? Needs to be qualifying a bit better. Ojeda, something bad happened to Juice, I think. What's that? 15th down to 22nd. Zach Bates, he was in there, but he didn't do a very good job. Where is he? 8th dropped to 18th. Don't know what happened to Batesy in that one. Mozzie, 21st up to 11th. Be nice to see Chaz get a podium at some point soon. Cameron Hill, most exciting prospect at BJR. 16th up to 12th. Didn't something happen to Cam Hill in the race? Bit of biffo, I think, with Cam Hill involved. LeBrock was 9th. What's that? 22nd up to 22nd up to 9th. Was 9th. What's that? 22nd up to 22nd up to 9th. I don't know what they did, but they did it well. Jackson Walls, another bad one. 18th down to 20th. I think Walls had a bad start in that race. No, hang on. Did he have a bad start? No, he didn't. He actually had a fine start. I don't know how he ended up getting knocked down a few spots. Declan Fraser. 19th up to 13th. Rylan Gray, don't know what happened to him, but something did not go well. So that's 17th down to 21st. Shouldn't be struggling that much. Race 1, 2. Race 1. Because I don't remember very much about what happened in race 2. Race 1, I remember who had bad starts. I think, yeah, because Walls crashed first corner. Okay. I mean, he still finished the race. How far down did he finish the race, though? It's 20th. He's still only a couple seconds off. He did get that safety car, of course. So he might have had some damage from that. Crash at turn 1. 1 lap down. Well, he must have got the lap back or something, because it doesn't say he's a lap down. So maybe there's no lucky dog anymore. So, but it still says that he's got his times like that. Oh, hang on, 52 laps. Yeah, so he got his lap back. Ojeda was a lap down, and Macca was 3 laps down. So something happened to Ojeda. Woody. What's that? 4th down to 7th. Not sure what happened to Woody on that one. I think he might have had another bad start. Macca, some sort of incident. I think we were talking about it earlier. What's that? 23rd, stayed 23rd. Not doing great laps at the moment. On the telecast the whole day it said 1 lap down. Really? Well, maybe the website's wrong. The website could be wrong, but the telecast has had a few little issues like that. Oh, that's not how you spell incident. Garaged for 3 laps. Job Stewart, Erebus are not having a great time at the moment. Until last to 17th. Good Murray, 20th up to 19th. Whoops. And that's it, apparently. That's everyone. And then we'll see how the rest of it goes tomorrow. And I'm not going to update that until the weekend's done. But I think so. 1st and 6th, 3rd and 10th. I think Payne's got to be right up there, but I probably won't bother updating it until the weekend's done. Super 2 finished Crawley. Yeah, they did. Doubting on pole. Yeah. I want to see how the results actually went. And their first Super 2 pole since Sandown 2024 with Jack Perkins. Alright. Ben Gomersall on the front row. Campbell Logan, 3rd. Goodall, 4th. So Tickford have pulled their finger out, it looks like. Zach Best, 5th. Brady Owen, 6th. Wow, good. It's an interesting qualifying session. Jordan Sinney, 7th. Nash Morris, 8th. Brad Vaughan, 9th. Matt Hillier, 10th. Ryan Thompson, 11th. Oof. Bailey Hall, 12th. That's a bit better from him. Matt Charter, 13th. Cody Bircher. Elliot Cleary. Bailey Sweeney. Alice Buckley. Hamish Fitzsimmons. Ed Hodson. Tommy Smith. Well, I mean, I wouldn't expect any worse from Tommy Smith or any more from Tommy Smith. Tommy Smith is a great example of driver who just there's so much money behind him that he can go and race in Formula 3, Indy Next, Super 2, and just and have people think he's good because he raced in Europe and America. It's like that doesn't necessarily mean that he's good. It just means he was there. In Formula 3, he was terrible. He wasn't racing for a great team, but he kept on crashing, which was not helpful. And he probably did the exact same thing at Indy Next. But Nash Morris should be 2nd. It's just another great example of why he's not that great. And yet he's got the endurance co-drive for freaking Premier. He better not get another gig after this year, unless he actually pulls his finger out and performs. But that's the 2nd qualifying session they've had, and he's still not being impressive at all. He shouldn't be struggling compared to his teammates. He should be beating them. But instead, you got Ben Gomersall, who I thought was pretty impressive at 888. Now he's doing a good job at Tickford. Ruben Goodall was good as well. Campbell Logan is impressive to see him doing that. Been in Super 2, 3 for 5, 6 years now. He's taking the piss. Nash Morris, he did 2023, and then he came. Was it 23 or? He hasn't actually been in for that long. This is what his 3rd year in Super 2. So no way. Yeah. Nash Morris has not been in for that long. Here's Super 3 title, then he went to Super 2. There's the year I seen him crash at SMP. Well, it might have been 2022 here. Yeah, in the FGX, then 2023 in Commodore, in the Boost Mobile FGX. That'd probably be it. Super 2, 2023. It was really bad. He kept crashing constantly. Like, I think he was that far down in the order. There he is, just like the first 4 races crashing down. Barber Gallo was the one where he launched in the air. I don't like he's getting better and better, but it's just like doing not a great job. He's doing about as good a job as his dad did, pretty much. And where's Nash there? Not great there either. And then he went away, he did other stuff, then he came back. So, alright, so I guess 24 he just didn't do, but he was doing other things, but he's not like stellar. So since 2021. Yeah, so 21 he's been racing V8s. So Super 3 and Super 2 for 2 years, and then he went away and then he came back. So this is what, his 5th year racing V8s? A lot of years doing XLs. And the thing is about XLs is that if you spend enough money in XLs, then you can win races and people think you're great. But Track Attack XL Cup, oh, that's one race, I think. Hyundai X3 XL. But like he hasn't been great in anything. I feel like he wasn't too bad in GT4 last year. Yeah, like 3rd in the championship with 3 podiums. Who was it? Ben Gomersall? Ruben Goodall was better than Ash Morris. Trash drivers. Just cashed up. Yeah. Nash Morris, I think, it's sort of unfortunate for Nash because I feel like a lot of the reason that he gets these opportunities is because people like Paul, right? And we like Paul, but Paul was not a great racing driver. He would rarely qualify and race well, and he would constantly be in biffo with people. And same thing in Super 2. And I think once in Super 2, Paul Morris was good. But I don't know how he's... But someone's got to fill the space, I guess. What's this? That's qualifying for supercars. Cashed up. Yeah. I was thinking about what's her name? Alice Buckley. She's got Castrol and Autobahn. It should be a slam dunk championship win for him. He's been doing this for too long. Yeah. Oh, well, same deal about Brad Vaughan. Like Brad Vaughan was at Tickford and he was putting it on pole, but he was not racing well. And Brad Vaughan's from Adelaide, but it's just like he's not that great. And he's won races, but he's just been around that long that eventually you had to be good at it. And I guess he's just got enough money to be able to do it. So yeah, I'm not a Brad Vaughan fan. I'm a fan of people who come in and are immediately good. Little counterpart was fighting for a championship in the main game. Who's counterpart? I was still doing jack shit in Super 2. Brad Vaughan. Who was fighting for a championship in the main game? Brad Vaughan's counterpart at Tickford. Is that what you mean? Or an Adelaide-based driver? Because I don't think there is one doing... Oh, Kai Allen. Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. So yeah, Super 3. And Kai crashed, and then Brad got the Super 3 championship, but Brad's definitely just got the money. That's why he's there. Kai has got through from being really good because in Super 3, he was just qualifying that car. He's a VE Commodore, putting it where it didn't deserve to be. Yeah, that was just shocking, that one. What else? I think I'm gonna wrap it up and getting exhausted. I got stuff to do, so He was dominating that championship. Yeah, Kai Allen. Kai Allen's just really good. He's a freak. Um, and he just needs more time in the main game, and then he'll be better. He's up against some of the best guys in the field. Like Vaughan was only in it because the rest of the field was weekend drivers. Yeah, Super 3 was often 3 drivers. Um, and yeah, and the only reason he ended up at Tickford is money, basically, because surely Tickford would charge more money for you to race for them. But yeah, I think, which is why it's sort of interesting that Jordan Sinney ended up. Where is he? Doing a pretty good job for Matt Charter. Hopefully, he's got the money to keep going, but he should not have been. I think Jordan Sinney just maybe isn't that good. Not necessarily cashed up, but just not the talent. Matt Hillier seems to be doing a pretty good job. He's at Charter. Yeah, Jordan Sinney is at Matt Charter. So he didn't have the budget to race at Eggleston's, I guess, and Charter had a seat for him. Yeah, he was at Eggleston for like 3 years. And yeah, so now he's at Matt Charter. Yeah. But he's been doing a much better job than Matt Charter. So yeah, it's really good. I like. I think Charter's doing the enduros or. I think they might be. What do they got? They got ZB Commodores. They had so they should have actually they're leasing the ZB Commodores from Walkinshaw. These are the Walkinshaw cars. I don't know. I guess if they have the budget, they'll do it. They just got to make it happen. They did manage to do it in 2022, so I think that they'll be able to do it again. And they weren't too bad at all in 22, and they did 23 with Boost. Yeah, the Triple Eight Camaro. I keep forgetting about that one. That one they did not have a good time in, and that's the Sandown. Hang on, no, 24, 2024 they did it in because it was the Sandown 500 winner from 2023. Yeah, so I don't know. For some reason, they weren't able to put a budget together for 24, and then last year they weren't able to do it. I think it was for some reason they their application got denied because they just didn't have their crap together in time. So it's going to be a bit of a stretch if they can actually manage to do it. Yeah, well, they were too late to apply, and they were probably too late to apply because they didn't have the sponsorship and things organised. They should have been sorting that stuff out a lot earlier. They didn't have a star co-driver. That's right. Yeah, I think it's a bit silly that it needs to be a star co-driver. I think it's fine for like it's interesting that like Tickford can run freaking Ryland Gray and Lockie Doughton, and that's going to be their wild card. But if you're not the team, then it was Barb's and they were beefing Apex too. They were beefing Apex. What? Why? They would. Well, they were trying to get Apex on a sponsorship or something. But yeah, Scott Pye was trashing them every chance he got. Oh, really? Was it on socials or in the? Oh, Scott Pye was trashing supercars. Oh. Oh, okay, yeah. So Barbara's guilty by association. Right. That's stupid. I don't like drama like that. Just like if like whoever wants to be part of supercars should just be allowed to as long as they're like a good driver. Like Charter's been around long enough, he's not doing a bad job. I did read articles about stuff like this. I did get impressions that was the case. So yeah, I think it's a common theory. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna wrap it up now. I'm gonna go do other stuff. I got things to do. I got a big birthday party coming up next weekend, so I got things to do. So yeah, thanks for coming, and I'll see you next time. You think nice chat. Yeah, nice chat. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.